It's the perfect season for a Saison.
Hello, welcome from the Confluence Beer Garden on this beautiful day. I'm Josh, the production manager here at Confluence, and I'm joined by
John Martin. I'm co-founder and head brewer.
And we're here to talk to you about one of the two beer releases this week. Check out the other video for the Watermelon Wizard. But this video, we're going to be talking about Saison Des Moines. And this is a beer that you guys kind of have every year at Thanksgiving, but not really, because that has cranberries and spruce tips, and it doesn't taste anything like the base beer. But otherwise, you haven't had this beer since before we put beer in cans.
Yeah, hard to believe.
It is hard to believe, because I love Saisons. They're like literally the reason... They're probably the reason that I fell in love with craft beer, the Saison. And for those of you that don't know the story of the Saison, Saison means season in French, and the story is that it's tied to seasonal work in France and Belgium, and workers coming on the farm to plant and harvest. So they would brew beer in the winter and store it in the farmhouse over the winter, and then it would be available. And the goal was something kind of low ABV, rustic, using ingredients from around the farm, within walking distance to bring them in.
They didn't plan it to be rustic. It just was.
It was rustic.
It was rustic.
Yeah. Yep. No, you're right. Rustic, and its intent was a refreshment for the workers. Right.
Yeah, very low ABV.
Right.
Yeah, and kind of rudimentary brewing, I would say.
Right.
Not very good conversion of the starches to sugars, and
right.
Just kind of, it was beer for sure,
right.
And refreshing, but not probably a lot of cereal grain, not as much malted.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ours is probably a little lower on the hoppy side. I think it's only like 20, 22 IBU. Features more of the yeast, in this case a French yeast strain, not as phenolic, a little more fruity character to it. And then ours is carbed to a pretty high carbonation rate. And it's naturally carbed, so not forced carbed in the can. We'll see how this goes when we open it here.
So I'm trying to remember, I didn't have a Saison, I don't think, until we started Confluence. And then, just talking to some of the other brewers, it was like, oh, you should try Saison Dupont. And so I grabbed a bottle of that, and after I drank that, I said, yes, we have to make a Saison. It was so good. And so I'm trying to remember if we brewed this for the first time in 2014, and I think it was a hit,
I would describe ours as a cross between something like a Saison Dupont and something like our downstream Daydream. I think that the yeast in this case expresses a little banana-y and a little fruity, maybe like a touch of citrus. But if you close your eyes and you drink it and you think, I've been working in the field and I'm hot, and it's time for a lunch break, it's kind of right on.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and it's one of those yeasts that ferments way beyond what the normal yeast does, but I feel like it produces glycerol, which balances that dryness.
Yeah, it dries it out. The amount of residual sugar in a Saison is usually very low, and the yeast strain we use, we kind of call it the Terminator. It gets almost every bit of sugar that exists in the tank.
It's been a while since we brewed it, so my memory could be off, but this is more golden, orangey.
I do think so too. Yeah.
I think previous versions were more white, just very light colored. So come on out and enjoy it. It's that season, right?
I'm excited that it's back. It's the right season for a Saison. Follow us on social media. Join us for a beer this weekend.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
Cheers,
guys.